Hello everyone, welcome to Acme Education, a platform where every question related to commerce gets solved. Please join Acme Education for details and day-to-day interaction with the teachers. And if you are not staying in Vadodara, then please contact on the details which will be provided in the end of the slide. And please do like, share and subscribe to our channel, which is Acme Education. And now let's get into today's topic, and that is 12th standard CBSE. We are doing macroeconomics now, and today we'll be doing the first part of macroeconomics, which is called as circular flow of income. So the circular flow of income is basically divided into kind of three phases. There are three phases of any circular flow of income, which says the production phase, and the income phase, and lastly the expenditure phase. Now, what do you mean by exactly production phase? So when the goods and services are produced, they generate income. This kind of a phase is called as production phase. So when the raw material gets converted into a finished good, this phase of converting the raw material into a finished good is called as a production stage. Moving to the second phase, which is called as the income phase. Now, because the goods have been produced by the laborers are going to get paid. And when the income is paid, which is in the form of probably rent, wages, interest, profit, brokerage, dividend, commission, that is called as the distribution of the income phase, or you can call it as an income phase. Now, once the income has been generated by these people, they would tend to go and buy the goods and services, which means that they would tend to do the expenditure and they would dispose of their income, which is nothing but called as an expenditure phase. So if you see the arrows in the circular motion, like first the goods are being produced. When the goods are produced, the income is being distributed to the people who basically help to produce these goods and services. And once the income is distributed to them, they tend to go and buy the goods and services and dispose of their income and do the expenditure in basically buying these goods and services. So this cycle basically, continues on and on. Moving to the next topic, and that is what is the difference between a stock and a flow. So the meaning of the stock means stock variable refers to that variable which is measured at a particular point of time, whereas flow variable refers to that variable which is measured over the period of time. So then, something that is at a particular point of time, that is at the end of the year, we have certain amount of stock lying with us, that's called as stock. Whereas flow is basically over the period of time, that is in one particular year, like over the period of time, when you have certain things available, that's called as a flow concept. What is the time dimension for the stock concept? So, in case of stock concept, it does not have any time dimension because it is at a particular point of time. Whereas in the flow concept, it is a time dimension, as its magnitude can be measured over a period of time. So like, when I say that the national income of the country, this is like a flow concept because it is over the period of time. In one full year, the income has been calculated and collected. Moving ahead to the next difference, which is the nature of the concept. So stock is basically a static concept, or you can call it as a stable concept, whereas flow is basically a dynamic concept, which means that a concept which keeps on changing. Moving to the next difference. Now, next difference is basically the examples to make the things more easier and clearer. Some examples of the stock can be population of the country as on 31st of March 2018. Now, they're not talking about the entire like some years. They're talking about specifically 1 year of period, 31st of March, on one specific date, 31st of March 2018. What is the total population of the country? The second example of stock is the total number of the Maruti cars in Delhi. So only in Delhi, how many number of cars are there? That's a stock. The third example can be the money supply, which means that the money in the circulation. Money supply as in the notes which are printed by the Reserve Bank of India and which are in the circulation, because that's the stock which is just getting into circulation. Fourth is the national wealth concept. So the total national wealth that the country owns. Fifth example can be the quantity of the wheat stored. So like if you have in your godown, like 10 quintals of the wheat stored, then this becomes a stock concept. Moving to the next examples for the flow. The first example can be the number of the birth during 2018. So like the entire year of 2018, as many number of births we have, that's called as a flow concept. Second example can be Maruti cars, which are manufactured during January 2019. So in the entire year 2019, as many Maruti cars have been manufactured. We talking about a flow concept. The third example is expenditure or the transactions in money. So all the expenditures and all the transactions that happen in the yearly basis or in a day basis is called as a flow concept. There's one more example, which is national income, and there is one more example, which is the quantity of wheat that is produced, not stored, but that is produced, because production means it is happening on a continuous basis, which is a flow concept. Moving to the types of the circular flow. Now there are two types of the circular flow. One is called as real flow, and the other one is called as money flow. Firstly, I'll explain what do you mean by real flow. Now, if you see, there are pink boxes. One box says the household, and the other box is basically the firms. Now, when the household are providing the land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, which means their factor services, which also means the factor of production to the firms, this is called as the real flow concept, because money is nowhere flowing from the household to the firms, but the services of the household, which is in the form of land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, is flowing from the household to the firm. So it is called as a real flow concept. Similarly, now when the firms are providing the goods and services which are manufactured by the firms to the household, this is again called as a real flow, because the firms are providing the physical flow of the goods and services that they have produced. They are not providing money, but they are providing the physically goods and services that they have produced. They're providing to the household, which is again a real flow. Moving to, what do you mean by a money flow? Now again, there are two boxes. One is the household and one is the firm, which is in the red color. When the household are going to buy the goods and services from the firms, so basically when they give the money to the firms, when they expend the money in the firms in the form of buying the goods and services, this is called as a money flow, because the money is flowing from the household to the firms. And when the firms are paying the factor services payments, which is probably in the form of rent, wages, interest, profit, this is called as again a money flow, because money is flowing from the firms to the household. So now if you see both of these circular flows, that is the real flow as well as the money flow. In case of real flow, again there is a cycle, which is happening, which means that first the household is providing the land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship to the firms, which is a real flow, and the firms in return are providing the goods and services to the household, which is a real flow. Money flow is also happening in the cycle. If you see that household are providing the money that they are going to receive from the firms in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit, basically the payment that they are going to receive from the firms, they are going to provide it to the household, so the entire cycle gets completed. Moving ahead to the differences between what is real flow and what is money flow. So we saw individually both the flows. Let's see the difference between real flow and money flow. First is the meaning. Real flow, it is the flow of goods and services between the firms and the household. So when the goods are flowing from the firms and the household, this is called as real flow. Now, what do you mean by money flow? It is basically the flow of money, which is between the firms and the household. So if you want the keywords in this particular topic, in the difference can be that in case of real flow, the goods and services are being actually flowed. Whereas in case of money flow, the money is flowing from the firms to the household and from the household to the firms. The next is the kind of exchange. Now, when it is real flow, there is an exchange of goods and services. But when there is money flow, there is exchange of money that is happening between these two parties, which means that the firms and the household. Moving to the third difference, that is the difficulty in exchange. So in case of real flow, there may be difficulties of barter system in exchange of goods and factor services. But in case of money flow, there is no such difficulty in case of money flow. The reason is that you give money and you get in return is also goods and services. Whereas in case of real flow, you get goods. Like if it was specifically the barter system, then there would be a difficulty. But if the goods are being exchanged with the money, then there would have no difficulty. Moving to the last and a very important point, that what are the alternative names of real flow and money flow. So you can also call real flow as physical flow, and you can call money flow as nominal flow. Moving to the entire circular flow of income, that is in a two-sector model. So basically, whatever we've understood till now, summing up everything together, if you see, basically the household are providing this yellow arrow is basically talking about the factor services, which is nothing but again a real flow, which means the land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. And again, this yellow arrow has moved from the household to the firms, so it needs to come back from the firms to the household. So it is coming in the form of factor payments, which means the rent, wages, interest, and profit. So if you see the whole cycle, the whole yellow has completed a cycle, which is nothing but called as a real flow ka cycle, which means that the household first gave their services, which was in the form of land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, to the firms, and in return the firms provided them with the payment of the rent, wages, interest, and profit. Similarly, so this yellow, basically the first yellow was the factor services, which was real flow, but this one is basically the money flow. Now the real flow has flowed from the household to the firms, so it needs to come back from the firms to the household. So it will be coming in the form of goods and services, which the firm is going to sell to the household, and the household is going to go and buy the goods and services from the firms, which is going to be purchase of the goods and services. So this time the money is going to flow from the household to the firms, and the goods and services are going to flow from the firms to the household. So this one becomes the real flow, and this one becomes the money flow. So this way the entire cycle of the circular flow in a two-sector model is being shown. But this is basically in this particular example, they're talking about a closed economy and not about an open economy. What do you mean exactly about closed economy? So closed economy is an economy in which the sectors are only two, that is household and firms. But open economy is a real life model in which there are government, there is import and export happening between the countries. So there is international trade as well, and that is actually a practical real example. This is just an hypothetical example, that if there is no import and export happening between the countries, if there is no government who is coming in between and charging taxes or giving any kind of subsidy, then the entire cycle will complete. The household will go to the firms will go to the household, again the household will go and buy the goods and services from the firms, and the firms will sell the goods and services to the household. So the cycle basically continues on and on if it is a closed economy. So moving to the next topic, which is basically the conclusion of this slide, which says that if it is a two-sector model, then your total production will be always equal to total consumption. Your factor payments, which is nothing but the rent, factor payments is the services like the land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, will be equal to your factor income, which is nothing but your wages, interest, profit, salary, brokerage, commission, etc. Your consumption expenditure will always be equal to your factor income. So you will basically go and spend only that much, equal to the amount that you have earned. So equal to your salary, you are going to do the expenditure. And lastly, the real flow will be always equal to the money flow. But this conclusion is only possible if we are talking about a closed economy model and not about an open economy model. Closed economy talks only about two sectors, and that is the household and the firms. So this way we complete our first section of national income, part A of national income, and that's it for the day. So enjoy the rest of your day, and please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Bye bye.